Welcome in, everyone. Today we're going deep on Lai Sung-Hsi, a really fascinating educator.
Yeah, looking forward to this one.
You know, when you first sent over these materials, the commendation form and the meeting minutes, all the certificates and competition profile, and even his blog.
Yeah.
I was really struck by how much there was to dig into.
It's amazing.
It's like we get this official view of him, but then also these personal glimpses.
Right. And from so many different angles, we see like the formal recognition, but then we also get to see how he thinks in his own words.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. It's really a great mix of stuff.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's start with the basics.
Sure.
So Lai Sung-Hsi is an elementary school teacher at Kwoksan Elementary School.
Uh-huh.
It's in Yunlin City in Taiwan.
Okay.
And he's been there for 26 years.
Wow.
Which right away tells you a lot, you know.
That's a long time.
This isn't just a job for him.
Yeah, he's dedicated.
And on top of that, he's the information technology group leader there.
I see.
So clearly technology is a big part of what he does.
Yeah, that's clear right from the start.
But it's more than just that.
More than just using it, yeah.
He's a real leader in using Google tools specifically.
Right.
He's a Google for Education certified innovator.
Yeah. And, you know, with your background, you know how big a deal that is.
That's not an easy thing to get.
No, not at all.
In fact, at the time of these sources, he was one of only 2 educators in all of Taiwan who had that.
Wow, that's amazing.
So it really puts it in perspective. Right?
Personally, yeah.
It's not just about knowing how to use Google Classroom or something.
Right.
It's about really changing how kids learn using these tools.
Like a real innovator.
Yeah, exactly. Pushing the boundaries. And it goes even beyond that.
Even more.
Yeah. He's also a Google certified trainer and a Google certified educator.
Wow.
Almost 1 and 2.
So he's really deep in this ecosystem.
Completely. This guy lives and breathes Google for education.
Yeah.
But what I find really admirable is he doesn't keep all of this to himself. You know, he's actually the convener of the Google educator groups in Jew.
Okay.
So that shows you he's really committed to building this community.
Yeah, to sharing what he knows.
Yeah, it's like he's saying, look, I've figured out some cool things. Let's all benefit from this.
Right, exactly.
So with all of this expertise, how does it actually play out in his teaching?
Well, that's the interesting part, isn't it?
Yeah.
How does it actually translate into the classroom?
Right.
Well, there's this quote from him where he says, "Every teacher is a guiding light in the lives of students, and I aspire to be that light for my students."
Oh.
I like that.
It's powerful, right?
Yeah.
It's not just about teaching the subject. It's about something more.
You could really feel that in his words.
Yeah, definitely.
And from what I've seen, it's not just talk either.
Oh, no.
He's actually putting these ideas into practice in really interesting ways.
More very concrete ways.
Yeah, like he's a big fan of blended learning.
Okay.
So using tech and traditional methods together. Getting the best of both.
Right, exactly. And what impresses me is he's really thoughtful about it.
It's not just throwing technology at the wall and seeing what sticks.
No, it's much more intentional than that.
Yeah, like he really considers how to make it work for different types of learners.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, you can have all the fancy gadgets in the world, but if you don't use them the right way, it's not going to make a difference.
Exactly.
So that's where his focus on different learning styles comes in.
Okay, yeah.
He gets that not every kid learns the same way.
Of course, yeah.
So he's always trying to make sure everyone has a chance to succeed.
It's fantastic.
It's really about making education accessible to everybody.
Yeah, that's a really important theme, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah.
And it's not even just about different learning styles.
Right.
He also wants to make sure that even young students who might not even have their own accounts can still benefit. That's where his information station project comes in. Oh, right, yeah.
So he came up with this way for younger students to use Chromebooks to get to online resources.
Right.
Even if they don't have their own logins.
So it's controlled, but it's still letting them explore.
Exactly. And it's safe and everything.
Yeah, it's really clever.
It's such a smart solution.
Uh-huh.
And speaking of ingenuity, I was really interested by that blog post of his about printing labels.
Oh, yeah, the label printing thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems so simple, but it shows how he approaches problems.
Right. And it's also a good example of how he collaborates.
Yes. So he was trying to find a good way to print labels and notices and stuff. And he worked with a colleague, and they figured out this system using Google Sheets and Docs and AppScript to do it all automatically.
That's amazing.
And I love that in the blog post, he specifically credits his colleague.
Oh, yeah, that's a good detail.
It shows he's not in it for the ego, you know?
It's about working together.
Exactly. It's about finding the best solutions for everybody.
Yeah, that's great. Oh, and have you seen what he's doing with NotebookLM?
No. What's that?
So he actually made a tool for grading elementary school compositions.
Oh, wow.
Using this really advanced AI.
That's really cutting edge.
It is. It is. It shows you he's not afraid to experiment.
No, definitely not. Always pushing the boundaries.
And he sees technology as something that's always changing and improving.
Right. And that can be used in all sorts of ways.
Right. And it's not just about the tech itself. It's about what it can do for the students.
Yeah, like how does it actually help them learn better?
Exactly. He's always focused on that impact.
That's what matters in the end, right?
Absolutely. And Lai Sung-Hsi really gets that.
Yeah, that's clear.
It's inspiring to see someone so dedicated, you know.
It is, yeah.
Constantly exploring new things, pushing the limits.
And not just for himself.
Right. And it's not just about his own classroom either.
Right. He's impacting others.
Yeah. He's sharing all of this knowledge and inspiring other teachers to do the same.
That's fantastic.
His impact goes way beyond just his own school.
Definitely. He's a leader in this field.
And speaking of reach, we can't forget about his own professional development.
Oh, yeah. That's important.
He's always going to workshops, getting certifications, participating in these big conferences.
He's always learning.
Always.
I read he even went to the Google Certified Innovator Academy in Singapore.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
He's really seeking out the best in the world.
Yeah, always trying to improve.
And then bringing those ideas back to his community.
It's really impressive.
It really is. It shows a real commitment to lifelong learning.
Yeah, it's setting a great example for his students, too.
Absolutely. It's not just about finishing school and then you're done.
Right. You never stop learning.
It's about always being curious, always wanting to improve.
Yeah, that's a great lesson.
And it's not just about taking in information either.
Right. It's about sharing it.
Exactly. That's where his generosity comes in.
Yeah. He's given so many workshops and presentations.
Over 100. And he's reached thousands of teachers across Taiwan.
That's amazing.
And then there's his YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah.
Where he puts all these tutorials and tips.
So anyone can access them.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's like he's democratizing knowledge.
It really is. And then there's his blog, too.
Right.
Where he goes into even more detail.
Yeah, he documents his experiments.
Shares what's worked for him.
What hasn't worked.
Yeah, it's really honest and helpful.
It is. It is. And what I like is that he's so open about both the good and the bad.
Yeah, it makes him really relatable.
And it gives other teachers valuable insights.
Definitely, yeah.
So it's like he's building this whole community of learning.
Where everyone can connect and share ideas.
Exactly. And support each other.
That's fantastic.
And you know what's interesting?
What's that?
His interests go beyond just technology.
Oh, yeah.
He's also super passionate about traditional music.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah. He's actually a member of the Oak County Teachers Chinese Orchestra. So it shows you he's a well-rounded person.
Yeah, definitely. Not just one-dimensional.
And from what I've read, he even finds ways to bring music into his teaching.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's like he's weaving together all these different parts of himself.
To create this rich experience for his students.
Right. It's a beautiful thing.
It is. It is.
So before we move on to some specific examples,
okay,
I think it's worth pausing for a second.
Yeah, good idea.
And thinking about what we've learned so far.
What stands out to you?
You know what strikes me the most? It's his dedication to his students.
Yeah.
And his belief that technology can be used for good.
Absolutely.
He's not afraid to push those boundaries, to experiment and to share what he learns.
That's powerful. And for me, it's his commitment to always learning.
Oh, yeah.
And his ability to connect these different things like technology and music.
Yeah, it's like he's a Renaissance man.
Yeah.
And it's clear that his students really benefit from this.
There's no doubt about that.
Okay, so now let's dig into some specific examples of his work.
Okay.
What are some of the highlights that come to mind for you?
Let me think. But we've already talked a bit about his information station.
Right.
Which is just a great example,
Yeah.
of how he solves problems and makes technology accessible.
Yeah. He saw that there was this need, younger students who might not have their own Google accounts.
Right.
But they still need to be able to get to online resources.
Yeah, they can't be left out.
So he figured out a way to use Chromebooks to create the safe environment where they can explore, but it's still controlled,
That makes sense.
It's practical, but it's also innovative.
Yeah, and it really puts the students first.
Exactly.
And it's a perfect example of that blended learning approach he's always talking about.
Oh, yeah.
It's not about getting rid of traditional teaching.
Right.
It's about using technology to make it better.
Yeah, to find that balance.
Exactly.
And speaking of blending, it's so cool how he brings in his passion for traditional music.
Okay.
I was reading on his blog that he sometimes uses music software in his classes.
Oh, wow.
Like letting kids experiment with composing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, or arranging pieces.
Just shows,
What?
how he brings his whole self to his teaching.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And that he sees how technology can make anything more interesting.
Right, even something that doesn't seem very technical at first.
Yeah, like music.
And it also makes me think about his commitment to always learning himself.
Oh, yeah.
He's not just teaching the kids, He's showing them that it's cool to be passionate about things.
Yeah, and to keep exploring.
Yeah, and that you never really stop learning.
Right, exactly. Like he's going to conferences,
Mm-hmm.
getting all these certifications, reading about all the new stuff.
It's like he's the expert, but he's still a learner, too.
Yeah, I bet that really resonates with his students.
I think so, too.
And then there's his YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah.
All those tutorials, the tips he shares.
It's amazing. He's putting it all out there for anyone to use.
That's so generous.
It really is.
And it's not just basic stuff either.
No.
He's really digging deep,
Yeah.
sharing the things that took him a while to figure out.
Yeah, little workarounds, the tricks.
It's really valuable for other teachers,
Oh, yeah,
especially those who are new to Google for education.
for sure.
And then there's his blog,
Right.
where he gets even more into the details.
Yeah.
He talks about the things he's tried, the successes.
The things that didn't work so well.
Right.
It's like you get to see inside his head a little bit.
It's really fascinating.
You see how he approaches problems.
Yeah.
How he figures things out.
I was always trying to find better ways to do things.
Exactly.
It's like he's saying, hey, come along with me on this journey.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, let's figure this out together.
It creates this feeling of community.
Yeah, exactly.
Like we're all part of something bigger.
All working towards the same goal.
Yeah. To make education better for everybody.
That's a great way to put it.
It's funny.
What?
When you first asked me to do this deep dive, I thought, okay, this will be about Google Classroom and Chromebooks.
Right.
But it's become so much more than that.
It really has, yeah.
It's about passion, dedication,
Yeah.
and how one person can make a difference.
It's a powerful story.
It is. And I think what makes it so compelling is it's not about these big flashy things,
Right.
It's about the small, everyday things he does.
Yeah.
The effort he puts in.
The consistency.
Yeah, and his willingness to try new things and then share what he's learned.
Exactly.
It's about making a difference one step at a time.
One student at a time.
One colleague at a time.
One blog post at a time.
Exactly.
And when you add all that up, over 26 years,
Right.
over 100 workshops,
all those YouTube subscribers,
the people reading his blog.
the impact is huge.
It really is.
And to think it all started with a few documents and a personal blog,
Yeah, it's amazing.
it shows you how powerful stories can be.
Definitely. It reminds me
Of what?
that behind all the awards and the achievements,
Yeah,
there's always a human story.
right. A real person with their own journey.
Yeah, and that's what makes it so inspiring.
So what can we learn from all of this?
That's the big question, isn't it?
It is. You've been working in educational technology for a long time.
Yeah.
What resonates with you the most?
Well, for me, it's that reminder,
Mm.
that it's not really about the technology itself.
Mm-hmm.
It's about how you use it.
Yeah.
Like Lai Sung-Hsi, he's not just saying, here's a Chromebook, go learn.
Right, right.
He's really thinking about how it all fits together.
Yeah, how to make it meaningful.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
it makes me think about how open he is with everything, too.
Oh, yeah.
Sharing his knowledge. I mean, he could keep all that stuff to himself, right?
Yeah, all the little tricks he's figured out.
All the innovative things he does in his classroom.
Mm-hmm.
But he puts it all out there.
The tutorials, the blog posts. Yeah,
It's like he's saying, hey, let's all get better at this together.
that's so important.
It really is. And, it's something we can all learn from,
Oh, definitely.
even outside of education. That idea of sharing what you know to help others grow.
It's about community, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And it reminds me of another big theme with him, that focus on making things accessible.
Oh, yeah. That comes through in everything he does.
It really does. It's like he's constantly thinking, how can I make sure everyone benefits from this?
Not just some students.
Right. Regardless of their background or their learning style or anything.
Like with that information station project.
Exactly. Such a simple idea.
But so smart.
It really is. And it shows you that accessibility doesn't have to be this big, complicated thing.
Right. It can be about those small things.
The little things you do to make a difference.
Yeah.
And it's not just about the students either.
Oh, yeah, good point.
He's making things more accessible for other teachers, too.
With all the resources he shares.
Yeah. Imagine how much time he saves people.
All the trial and error he's gone through.
Exactly. He's letting other teachers jump right in.
It's like he's giving everyone a boost.
He really is. And it comes back to that community aspect again.
Yeah, everyone working together.
It's really powerful. It's like he's created this ripple effect, spreading the love of learning and the power of technology.
Way beyond just his own classroom.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing. And, beyond all the tech stuff, what really shines through is his passion.
Oh, absolutely.
You can just feel it when you read his blog posts, when you watch his videos. He just loves what he does.
And it's contagious.
It is. It makes you want to go out and learn new things yourself.
Exactly. To get excited about teaching and technology.
And I think that's what makes him such a great educator.
That ability to inspire.
And, it's also a good reminder that even small things can make a big difference.
Yeah, if you do them consistently.
Lai Sung-Hsi, he's not trying to change the world overnight.
He's taking it one step at a time.
One student at a time. One workshop at a time. One blog post at a time.
And it adds up.
It really does. So as we wrap up here, what's the one thing you hope our listener takes away from all of this?
Ooh, that's a good question. For me, it's the idea that we can all be like Lai Sung-Hsi in our own way.
I love that.
We can all embrace that lifelong learning.
Yeah.
Find those creative ways to use our skills to make a difference. Build community around the things we're passionate about.
That's a fantastic takeaway. I hope our listener feels inspired to do just that.
Me too. To be a little more curious, to take on new challenges, and to never underestimate the power of what they can contribute to the world.
Well said. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure exploring the world of Lai Sung-Hsi with you.
Likewise.